Thank you once again for joining us as we tell you a little more about the lucky winners of the TWA Digitisation Grant for 2019. Just in case you weren't able to join us live for the winners announcement at the ARA Annual Conference in Leeds, and for those of you that I haven't met before, my name is Paul Sugden and I am the Managing Director at TownsWeb Archiving. I'm also one of the judges for the TWA grant. So, I would now like to take this opportunity to share with you the details of each of our winners and to tell you a little bit more about their projects together with some of the glowing feedback from our judges. Again, a big thank you to all that applied. The response and quality of applications this year has been quite frankly astounding. Okay, so moving on to our winners. We are very pleased here at TWA to be able to confirm that the winner of the secondary grant of £3,000 is the Alpine Club Library. Congratulations. Now let's hear from Nigel Buckley, librarian at the Alpine Club Library, to hear a little bit more about this project.
My name is Nigel Buckley. I'm the librarian at the Alpine Club. And the Alpine Club is the world's first mountaineering club, which also makes it the world's oldest mountaineering club. And throughout its history, we've been integral to a lot of exploration in mountainous regions, both in the Alps, the Greater Ranges, Himalayas, Alaska, Greenland, all over the world. It started in 1857 and quickly got quite a large membership. Published its first journal the year after. It was originally called Peaks, Passes and Glaciers, and it sold out in Victorian London. They loved it. That Peaks, Passes and Glaciers was followed by the Alpine Journal, which is still going today. And that's a record of mountaineering throughout the world. So a lot of people that come to the library now are interested in the history of mountaineering, which to some extent is the history of the Alpine Club, which means that they're interested in the records of the club and its activity, which dates back right to the beginning. So they're interested in the minutes and in the qualifications and the members. Now, a lot of that is only catalogued at a very sort of top level. We don't really know what's within those records. So every inquiry requires quite a lot of research. If we could digitise and catalogue those records to a granular level, people across the world that are interested in mountaineering would be much better served and easily be able to research and understand the processes and decision making that's occurred throughout the history of the club. About 70% of people that are both email or telephone or come to the library are non-members, and they're historians and social history, politics, history of mountaineering, from all over the world, which means that they generally have to come here if they want to see any of this stuff. So it's still very early days, but Durham University has a module called Writing the Mountain. It's a master's level module, so we're hoping to be more fixed with that over the future and have them come here and do temporary exhibitions, show them what we have in the club, cover the history of mountaineering and the role the Alpine Club's played. So the Olympics has accepted climbing for the first time as a demonstration sport, but it's quite far removed from what the Alpine Club does, but at its essence it's essentially the same. It's speed climbing, bouldering and lead climbing. And lead climbing is something that we all do in the Alpine Club, and it's generally where people start now. They start climbing indoors and then they start to think about where the sports come from. And mountaineering and climbing is unique in its way. It's a sport that's sort of come from the landscape. People saw the hills and wondered what was on top and wanted to put their feet where their eyes could see.
Well, I can tell you that our judges, and myself included, were very impressed with this particular project. And I've got some comments from John and Claire. John Chambers said, "This is a collection of surprising breadth of interest beyond the climbing and mountaineering community, including geography, biology and climate. The availability of this collection will have a strong international impact." And Claire Adler went on to say, with the introduction of climbing at the 2020 Olympics, it is timely that the heritage of this sport is brought to the public's attention. I look forward to seeing how this collection will be used. So, well done to the Alpine Club Library, a very well-deserved runner-up prize winner. And now, for our primary winner, we are thrilled to be offering an increased grant of £6,000, and this goes to the National Brewery Heritage Trust. So, let's now hear from the chairman, Harry White, to tell us a little bit more about their project.
My name is Harry White. I'm chairman of the National Brewery Heritage Trust. What's held here is 250 years worth of museum, of brewing archives and artifacts. Bass first started brewing in Burton in the late 1700s, 1770s, and there's material that goes right back to those early days and then is carried forward through the 19th century right through the 20th century. So there's a unique collection of material here, stored up above where we're sitting now. And 90% of it never sees the light of day, basically. There is a museum here and a visitor centre now, but it only shows a fraction of what there is actually available. It shows the more customer-friendly and the more interesting things, if you like, and to members of the public. But there's a huge wealth of material here, which is of interest to researchers and historians, whether social history or railway history or brewing history or just plain industrial history. And so it is a unique collection. There's nothing like it anywhere else in the UK, and there's nothing else like it anywhere else in the world. We've particularly applied to TownsWeb archiving for help with digitising some very large scale or beyond A4 size posters and various forms of artwork which require specialist help. So there are a number of posters, some of which are in front of me here. There are also architectural blueprints and engineering drawings, and a number of glass plate negatives, all of which require specialist input. And so that's what we were looking for support with from yourselves. The impact of beer brewing and its consumption and enjoyment by members of the public over the last 250 years, so it's had a major impact on the social fabric of and social development within the UK. And you say through good times and bad, the impact of beer during the World Wars. So all that is portrayed. There is evidence of it and stories related to it within these archives. Once the digitisation has happened, well, I think it's going to be an ongoing process over a number of years. But once we've got a sufficient body of material digitised in terms of the initial phase is the catalogue, then to get that up and running on its own website and do our best to promote that. I guess using the same network of individuals we've used for our crowdfunding exercise. So between us, we know a lot of people within the brewing industry, retired and still working there, and a number of bodies who have interests and associations with them.
Our judges were particularly impressed with this project and said the following. John Chambers said, "This project will make available material previously held in private hands, showing the widespread economic, social and industrial impact of brewing, which is little understood. Linking the outcomes to the national curriculum and family history demonstrate how this archive will be used extremely effectively." And Claire Adler said, "I look forward to seeing the online catalogue, and I am excited to see the stories that will be told through this collection and how they will address the impact of brewing on people's lives. Congratulations." Well, I'm personally very proud to see that once again the grants we are able to provide will help to protect UK heritage for generations to come, financially supporting them to take their archives a step closer to improving accessibility and valuable research. I hope you enjoyed finding out a little bit more about these fascinating projects as much as we have enjoyed discovering them. I can't wait to see the end results, which we will of course be sharing with you over the course of the next year. For those applicants that were shortlisted, we'll be making contact with you very soon in order to discuss the offer of the £500 match funding. Congratulations to you too. Remember, applications for the grant reopen in spring 2020, but for now, thank you for watching and for getting involved.